March. Spring Dance. It was March and spring arrived at last. The little friends decided to hold a festival to welcome the new season. The girls, Dolly, Flutter, Leapy, Zephyr and Rosita, were planning a special spring dance. "We should do the dance in flowery dresses," Flutter the butterfly girl told the others. "Then we need to sew them with special skirts that twirl around," added Zephyr the dragonfly. They all set hard to work, and the 5 dresses were soon complete. They span gaily around in front of the mirror and began to rehearse their dance. All of a sudden, one of the mushrooms called over to them. "You can borrow our caps for the spring dance if you like." "Really? You'd lend us your caps?" Rosita the rose beetle asked with a sunny smile. "Yes, we'll lend them to you, but please bring them back afterwards." "Thank you. The festival is just about to begin. We'll bring your caps back right after the dance," promised Leapy the grasshopper girl. That afternoon, all the forest friends gathered in the meadow. They all brought cakes and biscuits, and some had even made lemonade. Elliot the click beetle brought his accordion. Later on, Alfonso the cricket also appeared. He brought his fiddle and started to play. And then Dolly, Flutter, Rosita, Leapy and Zephyr arrived and performed their special dance. That was super! They all clapped at the end. They all had a super evening until the little friends started to get tired. "It's time for bed," said Flutter, and they all said goodbye. "Oh, we forgot to take the caps back to the mushrooms," Leapy announced. "I'm going that way home. I'll take them back," Berry offered, and the girls happily accepted his help. He set off down the path, and when he got there, he placed the 5 caps on the heads of the 5 snoozing mushrooms. The next morning, the canary chick pecked impatiently on Leapy's window. "What's wrong?" "I don't know. All I know is that the mushrooms are shouting out your name." "You got all our caps mixed up," they grumbled. "The blue one's mine, the brown one's his, the red one should go here, the orange one there and the yellow one over there." "Okay, I'll sort them out right away," Leapy reassured them. "I'm sorry, I should have brought them back because I promised. Do you know what? We'll do our spring dance to cheer you up, okay?" "We'd love to see it," the mushroom smiled. The 5 girls soon got together and danced their dance. The mushrooms enjoyed the whole thing and waved for the longest time when the girls left. January. Eddy and the toy car. The new year had arrived at last. The little friends were all at Stanley's house. The stag beetle proudly showed his friends the new toy cars he'd been given for Christmas. The silver dump truck is my favourite. It's got big wheels. It goes fast. The doors open and you can tip the back up and down," he said with a smile. "Let's build a track and drive all the cars around it," Eddy suggested. When the track was finished, they drove all the toy cars on it. Eddy really wanted to try the silver dumper truck, but Berry wouldn't let it go. When he eventually got bored, Leapy pounced on the super truck. Then Dolly took it after Leapy. Eddy only managed to get his hands on Stanley's dumper truck for a few minutes at the end of the day. He pushed it so hard that it rolled under the cupboard. Eddy reached under the cupboard to pull it out, but the wheel got stuck behind the cupboard leg, and it fell off. Eddy tried to push it back on, but it wouldn't turn after that. It started to get dark and the friends were getting tired. Eddy dared not tell the stag beetle that the dumper truck's wheel was broken. Instead, he put it back with all the other toy cars as if nothing had happened. They all said goodbye to Stanley and went home. Eddy soon got back to his house, but he could not get to sleep. He felt very bad about the dumper truck. He woke the next morning to the sound of shouting. Stanley was having an argument with Berry on the hill nearby. "Berry, you've broken my toy car." "It wasn't me. There was nothing wrong with it when I gave it to Leapy," the snail boy responded, sounding a little offended. "Then I'll ask Leapy." "Leapy, did you break the wheel on my dumper truck?" "No, of course not. It wasn't me," the grasshopper girl assured him. "I gave it to Dolly. Ask her," Leapy suggested. And so the stag beetle set off to the ladybird girl's house. Eddy felt terrible because he was the one who'd broken the wheel on the dumper truck. Then he had an idea. He had an old and bashed up dumper truck a lot like Stanley's. He found it and hurried over to Flutter's house. "Flutter, you've got some silver paint, haven't you?" "The silver's run out, but I've got some gold." "Please help me," the potato beetle said, and he told Flutter the whole story. Flutter was happy to help. She painted the toy car, and it soon shined as bright as new. "Thank you, Flutter," said Eddy, and he set off to give the reborn dumper truck to Stanley. When he arrived at Stanley's house, he was greeted by the sound of loud laughter. "Did you manage to fix it?" "Yes, I bumped into Charlie at Dolly's house and I asked him to lend me a hand," Stanley said with a smile. "Unfortunately, I never found out who broke the wheel." "It was me," Eddy told him. "I'm happy you managed to mend it, but I've brought you something too." "Oh, that's super!" "Thank you," Stanley laughed. "I'm not angry anymore. Do you want to join us? We're going to race with the toy cars." And the three boys set about building a track for the race.
Bubbles. Leapy, Zephyr, Berry and Bubble were having a contest to see who could blow the biggest bubbles. "Look at the size of those. Leapy's the best," Bubble cheered. The grasshopper girl blew bigger and bigger bubbles while the others stood around and clapped. Christopher soon arrived carrying Dolly and her yellow cousin Katie Ladybird. "Can we join in the game?" Berry passed the bubble blower to Dolly and the two tiny ladybirds began to blow bubbles. Look at the size of those ones. Katie's bubbles are even bigger than Leapy's. Leapy gave Katie a grumpy look and started to blow bubbles again, but none as large as Katie's.
You're a very clever ladybird girl. You've blown the biggest bubbles today. Katie's not even a real ladybird. Her back's yellow. She should paint it red instead. Leapy, it's mean to tease, and you're only teasing because Katie blew bigger bubbles than you.
Leapy, you've upset Katie. Help me cheer her up again.
I think I'd rather go home.
She really didn't mean it. She was only being mean because of the bubbles. Leapy arrived home in the meantime, but she did not know what to do with herself. She sat down to eat, but her food tasted all wrong. She started to draw, but she kept getting it wrong. And then she decided to take a walk. Christopher the canary happened to be flying by.
I didn't mean to upset Katie.
I know, Christopher smiled, and he wrapped his wings around the sobbing grasshopper girl.
It's not nice to tease. I didn't mean to. Katie is a real ladybird, and her yellow wings look lovely. Then tell her just that, like you've told me.
Leapy decided to take Christopher's advice. She set off to tell Katie that she did not mean to upset her. But when she arrived, all she said was,
"What are you doing?"
"We're going for a trip to the lake," Katie replied. And just then, Harry Hedgehog arrived with his Conker carts. Dolly and Katie jumped in the back and they were off on their way. Leapy stood and gave a sad wave. The next day, she set off again to say sorry to Katie. Katie was sitting down by the lake.
"Hi, Katie,"
she began.
"There's something I'd like to say."
But before she could begin, Spider arrived. "I've got to go, Leapy. You can tell me tomorrow, okay?" Katie told her and jumped onto Spider's back and hurried off with Dolly and Flutter. "Why are you so sad?" Bubble asked.
"I'd like to apologise to Katie, but it keeps going wrong."
"Don't be sad. Come inside. We'll think of something. I've got an idea already. Why don't you give Katie a little present?"
"I know. I could give her my bubble blower,"
Leapy exclaimed and hugged the little flower beetle. Leapy wrapped the bubble blower up the moment she got home, and she could hardly wait to give the yellow butterfly girls a lovely present. The sun was setting in the sky when she walked over to the spotty house. Dolly, Katie, Zephyr and Berry were planting flowers outside.
"What beautiful flowers! Can I help too?"
"Of course you can. I'll show you which flowers we're planting where," Dolly explained.
"Katie, I brought this for you,"
Leapy stuttered and passed the package to the yellow ladybird girl.
"It was silly of me to say that you're not a real butterfly."
Katie opened the parcel and smiled. "A bubble blower! Thank you, Leapy. I'm not upset anymore." The board game. It was a lovely spring day and Berry was playing a board game with Flutter. They had to follow a long trail from a mouse to a piece of cheese. "The winner is the first one to reach the cheese," the little butterfly girl explained. Berry started the game. He threw the dice and moved his counter. Then it was Flutter's turn. She threw the dice and moved. "I won!" the little snail boy shouted when his counter reached the piece of cheese. "Okay, you won. Let's play it again." Berry won the second game too. "I won. I'm the winner again," the little snail boy shouted with pride. "Let's play another game." They started to play the game again. This time, Flutter was the first to reach the piece of cheese. "I won, Berry. Now I'm the winner, the little butterfly girl announced with a grin. Berry was so upset that he hid under the pine tree, where he threw the dice so that Flutter couldn't see. I threw a 6, but Flutter told him off. That's not fair, Berry. You need to throw the dice where I can see it. No. Throw the dice again, Berry. This time he threw a 2. He got left behind and Flutter won that game. That's not fair. I want to win. That's cheating. But Berry, that's the point of a board game. One player wins and then the other wins. You can't win every time. But I can. I want to win every game, Berry whined, and he was so cross that he threw the board game down on the ground. OK, if that's how you want it, you can play on your own. And she flew away. It'll be better on my own, Berry grumbled. He threw the dice and moved his counter. He threw again and moved his counter. And he won one game after another. But he soon got bored of the game. He tried playing the game with his teddy. But his teddy wasn't a very exciting opponent. Berry eventually set off to look for Flutter again. It was no good on my own, he thought sadly to himself. He found Flutter playing cards with Dolly, Bubble and Balthazar in the meadow. Can I play too? Berry asked shyly. Well, Berry, you can play, but you're not guaranteed to win. And I wouldn't like you to throw the cards down as well. Flutter eventually shouted after Berry. Berry, you can come and play, but only if you promise not to get cross if you don't win. I promise, Berry agreed and ran to join his pals. They sat playing cards until it got dark. Berry won one game, Flutter won another, and Bubble, Balthazar and Dolly all won one too. Berry was so happy to be playing with his friends that he forgot to get angry when he didn't win. Stanley the stag beetle flew by and shouted down to them. Look, I've carved a roasting stick. Come on, let's make a fire and roast apples. They all seemed to like the idea. Eddy the potato beetle joined them. They all helped to build a fire, sliced apples up and put them on sticks and roasted them over the glowing embers. The little gang of friends ate up all the apples they cooked. Berry gave his last piece of apple to Flutter. He really wanted to say something nice to the little butterfly girl, but all he eventually said was, Here, this is for you. When all the apples had gone, the friends pushed their sticks into the fire and drew pictures with them in the dark night sky. The Sandcastle. On a sunny summer day, Berry, Dolly, Bubble and Balthazar put on their swimming costumes, grabbed their buckets and spades, and set out for Sand Island to build castles.
Look at this huge watermelon,
Balthazar said in surprise. Oh, let's take it with us, Berry suggested. Then we can all have a feast at the end of the day. OK, Berry, we'll take it. Berry, Dolly, Balthazar and Bubble carefully rolled the watermelon in front of them as they walked along. But when the friends got to the top of the hill, the round watermelon started to roll away down the slope. Stop it! Dolly shouted to the others. Bubble pounced on the watermelon, but he couldn't stop it. The baby beetle slipped off and bumped his head. The juicy watermelon just carried on rolling down the side of the hill. They all ran after it as fast as they could, but the watermelon was much faster than all of them. Then a terrible thing happened. The watermelon smashed into a sharp rock. Our lovely watermelon smashed into pieces, Dolly moaned.
Oh, the watermelon!
Balthazar was very sad too.
Why are you all complaining? Let's eat it instead,
the baby beetle suggested. So the 4 friends sat down and started to munch on the watermelon. They ate the sweet red fruit until their tummies were full. We'd better hurry to Sand Island, or there'll be no time left to build sandcastles.
Dolly, wait for me. I'll fly with you,
Balthazar said.
Me too,
Bubble added.
But I can't fly. Are you 3 going to leave me here?
Berry asked with a sad sob.
Let's build boats out of the watermelon rind. This way Berry can sail to the island with us,
Balthazar suggested. They selected 4 strong pieces of melon rind. 1 for Dolly, 1 for Berry, 1 for Balthazar and 1 for Bubble. They made the masts out of strong branches and the sails out of large leaves. When they were done, they launched the little boats on the water, and the wind quickly carried them away to Sand Island.
Hooray! We're sailing,
Berry said with an excited squeak. They all got to Sand Island with plenty of time left to play.
Look! Someone's coming! And he's got a bucket in his hand.
Indeed, there was a cheerful beetle walking towards them on the sandy shore.
Who are you?
Dolly asked.
I'm Sean, the sand beetle. I live here and was about to build a sandcastle. Really?
Balthazar asked.
Can we join you?
Of course you can. Let's all build together, Sean said with joy. The 5 of them built a grand sandcastle with all kinds of tunnels, towers and bridges. Now all it needs is a flag on top, Dolly said. So she drew a picture of Sean on a leaf and stuck it in the very top of the castle. That looks super! Does that mean it's my sandcastle now? Sean said enthusiastically. When the sun went in, Dolly and her friends said goodbye to Sean and headed home. Good night, King of the Castle, Dolly shouted, waving goodbye to their new friend. Spring Sports Day. Berry, Dolly, Flutter and Balthazar were sitting by the lake, throwing pebbles into the water. Berry hit a floating log a couple of times, and his friends clapped. Come down to the meadow now. The Spring Sports Day is about to start, Stanley told them all. Their forest friends had already gathered in the meadow. The little beetles all put their running shorts on and stood in line. They all ran as fast as they could. They had to run 3 times around the meadow. It's not fair! Eddy cheated! He cut the corner! Leapy the grasshopper shouted. There's to be no cheating. Let's start the competition again, but no cheating. Stanley came first, Leapy came second, and Balthazar came third. Berry finished last. Balthazar and Eddy started whispering.
He's as slow as his snail.
Don't make fun of him. It's not nice, Dolly said angrily. Now it's time for the high jump. The one who can pick the highest apple is the winner, Alfonso said. The friends took a run and tried to jump as high as possible. Leapy got the highest apple, Flutter got the second one, and Eddy the potato beetle grabbed the 3rd apple. No matter how hard Berry tried, he couldn't even reach the lowest apple. I can't do it. I just can't do it, he sulked. Come on, Berry. You'll be better at the next race. Don't be sad, Rosita said.
But Berry was too nervous to join the rolling race because he was frightened he'd crack his shell. The others all lined up and rolled from one end of the meadow to the other. Dolly was the fastest and she won.
Now let's start flying, Alfonso said. The fastest to fly to the top of this tree and get a pine cone from there is the winner.
The beetles started immediately. Flutter, Balthazar, Dolly and Zephyr all joined the race. Flutter was the fastest and got to the top of the tree first. I can't fly either, Berry snivelled. Don't be so angry, Berry. It's time for the skipping competition now. The fastest skipper wins. The 4 contestants started skipping. But suddenly, Berry got tangled in the rope and hurt himself. The others were worried and ran over to him. I'm not doing any more silly races. I can't do anything. I'm going home. We have to think of something. We have to cheer Berry up, Dolly said. You're right. What's he really good at? Rosita asked. I know, Flutter shouted. Throwing! That's a super idea, Balthazar agreed. Berry was the only one who could hit the log in the lake. They made 5 piles. The first one was made out of apples, the second of horse chestnuts, the third of pine cones, the fourth out of hazelnuts, and the 5th one out of pears. Dolly convinced Berry to come back to the meadow. It's time for the throwing competition. Do you want to join in? Rosita asked. Hooray! Throwing? Of course I'm in. Everybody had a go, but Berry was the best. He was the only one who managed to knock over all 5 piles.
You see, Berry, I'm the best runner. Leapy's the best high jumper, Flutter's the best at flying, Dolly at rolling, Rosita can skip the fastest, and you're the best thrower. Everybody's good at something, Stanley explained. Berry got a beautiful shiny chestnut engraved by Alfonso, which said throwing, first place. The bicycle. One summer day, a pigeon delivered a parcel to Berry and Dolly. It was quite a big parcel and wrapped in pretty red paper and tied with a blue ribbon. Dolly read the note attached. It's from the centipede! Hooray! He's coming to visit us soon, and he sent us this present. To us? Berry asked. What do you mean? To me or you? It says in the letter that it's for us. It's a present for both of us, I suppose. That's silly, Berry argued. I'm sure it's meant to be for me, because I was the one who found him in the snow last Christmas. But he stayed at my house. I looked after him and made him tea, Dolly replied. But I read him caterpillar stories from the storybook, Berry added. The red wrapping paper wasn't that strong, and it soon tore open. Wheels poked out from underneath. It's a bicycle, Berry exclaimed. It's just perfect for me. No, it's just perfect for me, Dolly insisted. All right, you can have the bicycle if you want it so much. I'll be the bigger person. You're behaving like a silly baby. That upset Berry. That's not fair. I'm going to be the bigger person and you're the silly baby. You can have the bicycle. In the end, neither of them took the bicycle. They walked away and left the half-unwrapped bicycle in the meadow. Not long after that, Balthazar the bee and Flutter the butterfly came by. What do you think it is? Is it a bicycle? Balthazar asked. Yes, it looks like it, Flutter replied. There's a note stuck to it. It's for Berry and Dolly from the centipede. Let's take it to them, Balthazar suggested. They touched the bicycle and the rest of the wrapping paper fell off. This made them laugh.
Look, it's a tandem. 2 people can ride it. Let's have a go, Balthazar said. Hello, Berry. Hello, Dolly. We brought you your bike. You left it in the meadow, Flutter shouted. Berry and Dolly came outside. They saw Flutter and Balthazar on the bicycle and felt very silly. Oh, it's a tandem. We can both sit on it. And we had such a fight about it. They made friends again and hugged each other happily. What a super present. We wasted all our time quarrelling and we haven't made anything for the centipede. He could arrive at any minute, Berry said in a panic. Let's make him a colourful windmill. We can use pretty petals, Flutter suggested. Yes, that's a great idea, Berry and Dolly agreed. The 4 friends gathered red, purple, white, yellow and pink petals and made a windmill. Just then, the centipede arrived in a cart pulled by a mouse. The little mouse stopped in the meadow and the centipede climbed out. He gave Berry and Dolly a big hug.
I see you got my present. I hope you like it.
It's beautiful. We love it, Berry and Dolly said. And we made you this windmill. The centipede stayed with Berry and Dolly for 10 whole days. They went for long rides on their bicycle. They talked, sang and played a lot. They had a very good time, but the happy days passed soon. I have to go home now. I've had such a super time here, the centipede said. Do come and visit us again next summer, Berry and Dolly said, as they waved goodbye to their friend. Santa. One snowy morning, Dolly the ladybird turned to Berry the snail and said, Hey Berry, Santa's coming tonight. Really? Berry wondered. That's right. He leaves presents in the boots of good children. Remember to put your boots in the window. That evening, Berry cleaned his boots and popped them in the window. He was so excited when he went to bed that he couldn't get to sleep. He stared out at the sky to see when Santa would appear with his reindeer sleigh. Dolly got up early the next morning. She ran straight to the window. Her boots were packed with presents, colouring pencils and a big red apple. Berry ran straight to his window too. He was very excited. He couldn't wait to see what Santa had brought him. But oh dear, his little boots were empty. Berry was so upset that he didn't see the huge red parcel in the other window. He looked inside his boots again and again. He shook them upside down, but there was nothing in them. He was so sad that he decided to run away. Santa didn't bring me anything, but I've been such a good little snail, he cried. Dolly went over to Berry's house. Hello! Look what I got from Santa! Dolly started to worry. She knocked and knocked, but Berry didn't open the door. Where's Berry gone? I have to find him. Stanley the stag beetle, Balthazar the bee and Flutter the butterfly went with her.
Berry?
Berry! 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 It was getting dark by the time the 4 friends found Berry. He was sitting on a tree stump and crying. Dolly ran to him. What's wrong, Berry? What happened? Santa didn't bring me anything, but I've been such a good little snail. Don't be silly. I'm sure you got a present, Dolly reassured her friend. Maybe it was so big Santa couldn't fit it in your boots and he put it somewhere else. No, I didn't get anything. I don't think Santa's real at all. Just then, a sleigh appeared in the sky. It was being pulled by 2 reindeers.
Ho, ho, ho!
Santa waved at the children.
I hope you all liked your presents. See you again next year.
Berry was so surprised. Let's all go to Berry's and look for his present. The little snail felt much better already. They saw the big red parcel the minute they walked into Berry's house. Look, your present's in the other window. There it is. It's wonderful. Berry opened the present. It was a colourful wind chime. When Berry shook it, the little bells knocked into each other and made a pretty tinkling sound. It's beautiful. Stanley fixed the wind chime by the door and they all said good night to Berry. Berry jumped happily into bed and fell fast asleep to the tinkling of the chime.